And good afternoon. It is Sunday, a Sunday show. Sunday, July 9th, 2017. I'm Jacqueline. I'm here with my co-host, Justin. Good morning, Justin.
Good morning. How's it going?
Good.
Yeah,
And
when
this
I
is the
heard...
Bitter Knitters. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Cut me off.
Yeah, I will.
We haven't done a show in years together, so this should be really fun. This is our Bitter Knitters podcast TV Attack edition. Slack and I used to, that was his nickname back then. Justin and I used to do a TV podcast, a radio show called TV Attack with Slack and Jack. So we've kind of took the name and we're going to change it around. Things have changed now. We have Netflix, Hulu, Amazon streaming, YouTube's making TV shows. Back then we just had network and cable TV and maybe HBO. Now there's so much TV platforms.
It's amazing how much has changed in just a few years.
Yeah, I didn't even have Netflix back then.
The dark ages. But we do.
Yeah, it really was.
It was. It's so different now. There's TV shows like everywhere. Maybe too many, but you know what? That's okay. I still will watch them all. But we've got some news items that we want to start out with every week. And Jacqueline, you watched season 1 of The Exorcist, correct?
I did.
How was it? Did you like that show?
Is it getting a season 2?
It is getting a season.
I liked that it really kind of did have the feel of the first movie, that kind of slow build up to the horror. There was some creepy, scenes with the demon people running around. There's demon people everywhere. And then the big reveal, which I actually did not expect, was that the Gina Davis character, spoiler, is actually Reagan.
Whoa.
Grown up.
I did not know that.
From the original movie. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
That was like, what? I didn't see that coming at all. My mind was blown when that was revealed.
Wow. No, I did not know that. Wow, that's really cool. So anyway, it did get picked up for a second season. I think that was one of the surprises of pickups. And it's going to return Friday, September 29th. But I think they're kind of doing a kind of an anthology type where most of season 1's characters will not be returning, including Gina Davis. But
is the priest still there? Do you know that?
Father Ortega and Marcus Keene are both there. Yes.
Yes, Father Ortega is Nando from Sense8.
Oh, okay. So he still has a job.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yes, I'm so happy he has a job. Yes.
And so season 2 is about the two of them. They're gonna be out of Chicago on the road looking for evil, and they're gonna be led to a former child psychologist who runs a group home for 5 at-risk foster children on a secluded private island near Seattle. And so apparently one of the children will be targeted by a powerful force. So then they're going to maybe it's going to be an exorcism with that, but they're going to find themselves out in Seattle. And the person running the foster home is going to be played by John Cho. So the big news this week was the casting of John Cho in Exorcist season 2.
Good. A foster home on a private island. Come on. But that's okay. I'm going to be watching it because I love John Cho. And I love Nando. That's his name. This is the thing about Justin and I. We will refer to characters from 20 years ago as their character names. It doesn't matter if they've been in other things. Like Buffy will always be Buffy.
Buffy. Well, speaking of Buffy, sort of. The next story involves the person who is famous because she kissed Buffy in a movie.
Oh, she got a job.
She has a job. Selma Blair has a job. She is joining the Heathers reboot. Apparently, they are making a Heathers TV show.
Okay.
And that is going to air.
That play's been successful.
Yeah, it's gonna be. Last I heard, it's gonna be kind of an anthology series, and I don't think it's going to completely do the plot of the movie, but it's going to be inspired, and there will be characters named Heathers. She's going to play, I think, the mother of one of the Heathers. I see her. She posted a picture on Instagram. She actually looks kind of hot. Selma Blair and hot, not words that usually go together, but that's okay. And it's going to air in next year, 2018, probably January, on the Paramount Network, which is going to be the new name for Spike TV. So goodbye, Spike TV.
So is it definitely going to be a show, or is it just like a pilot they're considering?
It sounds like it's a show. There's going to be Shannon Doherty is going to guest star. Probably just for one episode, but she will appear on the show.
Yeah. She's made a recovery from her breast cancer, and that's good.
Yeah,
she's got a job now too.
It was originally, exactly. It was originally going to appear on TV Land, but the Paramount Network picked it up instead.
Okay.
And there is going to be somebody who is from one of my favorite awful summer TV shows, Under the Dome. And I'm going to see which actress it is, because I'm afraid it might be Nori.
Oh no. Nori. I'm hoping it is. I don't even know who I liked on that show. None of them, to be
None
honest.
of
The hot
them.
blonde guy that looks like Cam Gigante, but it's not Cam
He does.
Gigante.
Yeah, I get the confused. He does look like Cam Gigante.
We can't say that name.
Let's see how many times we can butcher it in an hour. It is. Oh, I don't recognize this girl at all.
Oh, okay.
She played Melanie Cross. Oh, that may have been like the coma girl. I don't know.
The girl that came out of the locker or whatever, maybe her, or
Yes,
that had
her.
died in
That
the
was-
past.
Yeah, her.
Okay.
So it's not Nori. That's good. So I know, Jacqueline, I know one of your favorite TV shows of all time is the original British version of The Misfits.
I love that show. It's so
Well,
good.
like everything, it's going to get ruined by American television.
I know. I know.
Next year, we're going to get an American-made version of Misfits, and that is right now it's just ordered in a pilot by Freeform, which used to be ABC Family. They cast all the children, which are people I don't really know, but I'm most interested in the addition of Dave Foley has been cast in Misfits.
Is he playing the probation worker?
He is playing someone named Bernie, who is a car service driver. Is there a character like that in the original version?
Not that I can recall, but I mean, you know, they might actually have their own scripts. This is the thing about this. The British version is so perfect because it's such a weird premise, but these characters can say whatever. In Britain, you can say curse words, you can swear, you can show gratuitous drug use and sex. In America, and in Canada too, to that degree, get your panties in a bunch over gratuitous F words and S words, and you know, I just don't think you're going to be able to recapture it and make it as good as it was. It's going to be a very, very weaker, paler, version.
And I feel like that we get a lot too when we see American versions of British shows. Because I remember that, this is going to date myself a little bit, but the American show Coupling, the British show Coupling, when it was brought to America, I remember a lot of people complaining it was just so watered down and they couldn't do the things that they were able to do.
Yeah, well, that's what happens. The skins the same way.
Exactly.
They tried.
Oh yeah,
I forgot
that.
And the picture you showed me of the guy who's supposed to be the Simon character is just offensive to me.
Charlie Saxton is his name.
I don't know who he is. I don't care. He is not handsome or sexy. And in my opinion, the Simon character is that kind of weird, nerdy guy that grows in handsomeness as you get to know him. And then, of course, he actually physically grows into Super Hoodie and becomes like a superhero who's hot. And I can't see this Charlie Sexton guy.
I mean,
is he getting a full body makeover?
Charlie Sexton.
No, it's never going to happen because that show won't be on a year from now.
Okay, I'm going to July 9th, 2018. You will make a post that Charlie Sexton is your new favorite actor.
Never.
So you know how we have like The Talk and The Real and The View, all these like women-centered group talk shows.
Yeah,
The Chew. Yeah. Well, there's somebody out there who's trying to make a male-themed talk show called The Men's Room, and he is currently. Have you seen the story yet?
No. Is his name Donald Trump?
No, he is an actor on a TV.
Billy Bush.
Oh. It's only locker room talk. It's an actor in a show that we both currently watch. It is on hiatus in between seasons. And it is an actor you're not a huge fan of. If I say his name, I don't even know if you would recognize him without saying his character name. So the actor's name is Justin Baldoni. And that
sounds familiar.
Raphael from Jane the Virgin.
Oh, God. I despise him. I'm not going to watch his Men's Room.
The goal would be
is where you go to take a poop. Why would I want to watch a show called The Men's Room? Like, come up with a clever name, stupid.
Well, then how fitting that you've got Raphael poop himself talking about poop.
Bring back Michael.
The goal. Oh God, and none of this Tyler Posey garbage either.
He wants to bring Tyler. I thought you were saying he wants to bring
Jane
Tyler Posey. I forgot that they hinted him for next year. Yeah.
Yeah, and the goal is that he would produce it and everything, and that he would be part of the panel.
Oh.
So no, thank you. Did you see that the final 10 episodes of Teen Wolf have a premiere date?
No, I didn't.
They are premiering.
I don't even know I'm excited since they got rid of Styles anyway. Like, what the frick is the point?
I haven't finished last season yet. It used to be like one of my favorites, and it's become kind of a chore to watch. I still like it, and I'm gonna eventually catch up, and I'll
definitely finish out.
Episodes. Because who knows what they'll do with like Mr. Argent and.
Is Dylan O'Brien definitely not in them, or does he pop up at the end, or?
I feel like they're being very hush-hush about it. My gut is saying we're not going to see him.
Yeah, that's just because they kind of really did finish out his character in his last episode.
Unless they want to, maybe he's in a final episode reveal to save the day, and they're just trying to be quiet about that. But my guess is he's over the show. I don't think we're going to see him again.
Well, I mean, I'm sure a lot of the fans that watch it are Dylan O'Brien fans, and maybe we'll be like, well, if he's not there, why would I tune in if he's not going to show up at any point?
It's like Raina leaving Nashville. It's not the same.
It's not the same.
Not the same. So it's going to premiere July 30th. So we're only a few weeks away from that, and it is moving to Sunday nights.
The death now.
Yeah. At least it's not up against the same time as Game of Thrones. That would be, I think it's an hour.
And I mean, it's not on Sunday at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. So, I mean, it's got something going for it.
That would be interesting. Hey, come watch brand new episode of Teen Wolf, 2 in the afternoon on 4th of July. Flushing this down the toilet, right into the men's room. I have one last story which popped up last week. It was just a quote from the show's creators. But I would like to see it go in this direction. And that's about the show South Park. So South Park in the last couple years has gone a little more serialized and definitely have focused more on kind of, I don't want to say politics, but politics statements and a lot of the adult characters, which is not necessarily something I've still enjoyed it, but I've enjoyed the earlier seasons much more.
It's definitely been a weaker couple of seasons.
Yeah. So Trey Parker has come out this week in an interview and has said that we probably won't see as much politics this week, or this season, maybe not even Trump at all, which I think would be nice. And that the goal at this point is to get the focus back on the kids and their wacky little adventures, which I am all for, and I hope we see.
Exactly. Me too. It did get a little heavy. I mean, we were living it every day. It was on every show, every media outlet, every Facebook feed. I didn't need to see it on South Park too every Wednesday. I
will be okay though if they do bring back the Memba berries, because that was clearly the best part.
I loved them. And I mean, we're constantly saying Memba.
You member? I remember.
That
was the best part. That, and in the last couple seasons, I think the Caitlyn Jenner character with the buckle up, buckaroos. Buckaroo.
Yeah.
Can't do that with my tongue out. And other than that, it hasn't been all that great. So hopefully they'll be able to kind of get back to basics. And I do feel like, I don't know where their current contract ends up, but I wouldn't be surprised if we're definitely towards the end of the run.
I mean, that's been on 20 years, right?
21st season is the one coming up. And that is a very long time for anything.
Any show. And to stay making good quality. I mean, granted, they only make how many episodes a season?
At this point, they're only making 10 a year.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a little easier than if you're running a 23, 24 season, episode season. But I just feel like, I don't know.
Yeah, and they've got
at last. I mean, Simpsons is still going, and CNN, or no, what's that show? What's that show on Sunday nights for old people? 60 Minutes.
60 Minutes. And Law and Order SVU is pretty far, too.
That's true.
That show for old
that's
people.
True.
That should be the new title. The show for old people. And the TikToking is a 60 Minutes. It's like how much life they have left.
Oh, it's sad, but I'm old now, too, so I should start watching 60 Minutes.
Well, what's sad is I don't think, from when I watched it as a kid at my grandmother's house, I think all those people probably passed on. And now you got, Anderson Cooper. And
yeah, that's true. Morley Safer. Was that somebody that was on that show?
That was someone that was on in, Ed Bradley or something. I don't know. And Mike Wallace. I just would like to spend 45 minutes discussing everyone from that old person show. Guess what's coming back a week from today?
Game of Thrones. I don't need to guess. I know.
Oh, I was going to say Celebrity Family. No, it is Game of Thrones, back for season 7. What's kind of sad is we've only got 2 seasons left, and
they're both
each
really short.
season is going to be a lot shorter. This season is only going to be 7 episodes long versus the 10 that the previous 6 have been. But they have said that they're not cutting the budget. Apparently, the budget for 10 episodes will somehow be crammed into 7 episodes.
Ooh, so that means like battles, and explosions, and dragons, and
I bet lots of dragons.
old lady witch boobs.
I bet lots of dragons. I'm still scarred from that scene. Last season, that was kind of great.
Old lady witch boobs.
Old lady witch boobs. So there's not a whole lot out there with the new season, and obviously we're now far removed from the books. I still don't think we'll ever see another book published in our lifetime. But what do you think is going to happen, or what do you want to see in this upcoming 7th season?
What would I want to see?
Yeah.
It's so hard to know. I mean, it's obviously only speculation. This hasn't even been written by George R. R. Martin. I, of course, if anybody knows me, knows that I love Gendry. So anything that has to do with the return of Gendry and not the death of Gendry is all I want to see.
Well, that's what they did last season, is they brought these characters back we hadn't seen forever. Rickon, Osha, and like within an episode or 2, kill them all.
Well, the Boltons are gone, so they're not just randomly killing all the returned people. So there's a chance that Gendry could still live. And I mean, look, he's the last remaining Baratheon. So I mean, other than the fact that the Targaryens have the right to the throne, I guess, he has as much right as anybody else.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, I think he might somehow play into the end game. So I don't think that they would bring him back just to wipe him off immediately. So it'll be interesting to see what they do.
If it's going to end up happily ever after where certain people, I mean, obviously a lot of people will be dead and devastated because we're talking about a George R. R. Martin thing. There won't be a ton of survivors at the end. But if we're going to have any kind of happy ending, in my mind, the happy ending will be tied up nicely in a bow with Gendry and Arya married together, ruling the world.
And being the only 2 people left alive.
No, there can be other, like, this is the thing about Game of Thrones. I don't like when the innocent people die. You're just like some poor slob working on a farm and a White Walker comes and kills you and makes you into a zombie. That's not very nice.
But I wouldn't mind if the guy who showed his junk during Cersei's shame walk, if he somehow died. That would be okay. I did not need to see his junk.
But I mean, Game of Thrones is always showing junk.
Yeah, old lady witch boob.
Shame. What do you think? What would you want to see this season?
One of my favorite teases at the end of last season was when Oleana, I have no idea if I just call her Old Lady Tyrell, Marjorie's grandmother.
Yes.
When she went and looks like she's forming an alliance with like the sand snakes. Is that what they're called?
Yes. Yep.
And so it'll be interesting to see what happens with that alliance and what they can do, because I think they might be able to do some damage, and I would love to see her on the throne at the end. That's how I would end the show.
But she'll only live like another 2 days and then die.
And then you can have your Gendry Arya family thing going on.
Okay, that's fine then.
Yeah, there we go. So we're all happy. We all get our happy ending.
What do you not want to see? I know you are one of the people that hate Jon Snow.
I cannot stand Jon Snow. So I would
but
like.
Don't you think it's set up for him at the end to actually be the ruler?
I do think that is very likely that he will end up on the throne. And I don't like that one bit. But at the same time, I also think that might be a little bit of fan service, and most of the fans would want or expect that. So I'm kind of hoping that's not going to be the case.
But like, that's kind of the whole thing, right? The whole thing they're saying is that, what's his mother? Lyanna, and I don't know how to say that other one's name. Rhaegar?
I don't know how to say half the characters' names, so that's fine.
That would be Daenerys' uncle, right?
Yes.
And Ned Stark's little sister.
Yes.
They had a baby together, Jon Snow, and the people always say that he's supposed to become like the one true hero at the end. I can't remember what the word is. They have a word for him. Like the victor who's going to come and save the day. Lightbringer, isn't that the word? Lightbringer?
Like, oh, that sounds right. I was gonna say savior, but that's a little Once Upon a Time.
Yeah.
You give him a little red leather jacket.
The savior.
But yeah, no, I kind of in my dream world, he finally comes face to face with Daenerys, and she's like, "Dragons, eat him," and that's the end of Jon Snow.
That's done.
I really should be on the writing staff of Game of Thrones. It would be everyone actually.
They should let us write every show.
Oh, imagine. Actually, I think there's some shows that are too good for us to write for. We'll get to that one next. We're going to talk about another thing with Game of Thrones is I would also like to see, obviously, more Brienne of Tarth. Now, I was trying to think, where did we last see her? Was she with the Sansa Jon Snow posse, or I was trying to remember where she was, and I couldn't remember.
I thought she left again.
Oh.
Let me think. Oh, you know, I kind of do remember that. What's his name? That giant ginger beard guy.
Tormund.
Tormund. I remember him giving her a look at the dinner table. Remember they were having dinner?
Oh.
Maybe that wasn't Winterfell. I don't remember. But I mean, I love the chemistry those two have. Of course, I would love her to marry Jaime Lannister. But I mean, he's one of those Knights Guards, and they're supposed to never get married. So.
I think my favorite love triangle of the show is Jaime, Tormund, Brienne.
You know what? She's a modern woman. She's a strong woman. Why can't she have both?
There we go. Along with
writing the show some more.
Gendry and Arya on the throne.
Exactly.
Do you think, not just in general with the Starks, I was going to ask about the Starks, but let's do it. Who do you think is going to not survive season 7?
I think we're going to see, I know that they're setting up Cersei to have kind of like this big season, but I kind of feel like she's going to be dead by the end of the season. I don't know.
I do too.
I don't think she's going to survive. I think we're going to see the end of, what's his name? Euron Greyjoy.
Yes.
I think he's definitely going to die. And I know this won't make our friend Kat happy, but I think Littlefinger's time is coming to the end.
You know what? For a character, if you're like steaming and your hands are in so many like pots at once, your lifespan is only so long. And I think Littlefinger's steaming will eventually catch up to him.
That's and I love the character. I think he's great, but I think he's going to try to manipulate Sansa, and she's coming into her own now. And I don't think that that's going to go. I mean, look what happened to Ramsay.
Yes.
You know?
Dog food.
Yeah, literally dog food.
Do you think that any of the Starks are going to not survive the season, or do you think they're all going to be safe, or at least until season 8?
I don't know. I think at this point that the 3 Starks are going to probably make it to at least season 8. Do they all live? I don't know. I mean, what's going on with Bran? I don't know what his time-traveling psychic powers are happening. I don't know what's going on. He's up
none
in
of that makes sense.
Country.
Yeah, none of that makes sense to me. I don't understand.
I don't know. I mean, I don't see. I just don't see that character of Arya dying. I feel like she'll be one of the ones at the end surviving. Sansa, maybe. I don't know, but she's become such a. I mean, you think of that little girl from season 1 to what she became at the end of season 6.
And she's been through so much, too.
I'm rooting for her now. I used to hate her and want her to die, and now I'm kind of rooting for her. I'd be happy if she became the Queen of the North.
I'm almost wondering, I almost feel like the show is kind of her journey.
It really has been.
She's one of the characters that I think has been through the most and may have changed the most, too.
She really has. I mean, like, you know, everybody's had these horrible journeys. Jaime's lost a hand. Cersei's lost every freaking child she has. Arya had to watch her father get beheaded, and half her family is dead. And she went over to this Bravos and was a weird person with no face. And, you know, like all this weird stuff happened. But I mean, like, Sansa was in love. Sansa was a captive. She watched her father die. She had to be hung around with that horrible Joffrey. And then she had to marry, which probably the best part that happened to her was marrying Tyrion. And then, you know, and then she had on her little escape with Littlefinger and that horrible, weird little kid that breastfed from his mother still. You know, like so much. And then she had to get raped by Ramsay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, she really has. And I mean, to survive that and be so strong, you have to give the credit to that character. She's doing a good job.
I don't know, but I feel like if any of the Starks were to go, it might be her. Even though I'm torn because, like I said, I feel like at this point the show seems to be her journey.
Yeah, I would hate for her to come this far and then have her die in some stupid, horrible death.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what the next hold the door moment's going to be.
Oh my
we're
God.
gonna get a couple this year.
That
sure.
was one of the saddest things I've ever seen on TV. Like that hold door. No, that's awful.
That's okay. He's shilling for KFC now, so everything's good in the end.
Okay.
Did you see that? Did you see that commercial?
No, that did not air up here in Canada.
I only saw it online. I didn't watch it myself, but apparently the actor is kind of doing his hold the door thing with like everyone trying to rush into a KFC restaurant for whatever the new restaurant is.
Popcorn chicken.
Food. Probably.
That's the only thing I would run to a KFC for.
Well, once you get there,
he's a DJ in real life too, so he's making money.
Yeah, he's good, and everyone's gonna always remember him for being Hodor, and good for him. So we like to run the gamut of shows that we talk about here. So we have our highbrow Game of Thrones, and then we have another show that came back last week called Zoo.
Oh, Zoo. The Zootacular return of Zoo, as I like to say.
Oh, I like to say Super Duper. Season 3.
A show that should not have gotten even 2 seasons, let alone 3. But we're still watching. This is the thing. So if anybody's ever watched this or have never heard of this show, okay, this is a show where a virus was chemically made, or I don't even understand the science behind this show. It's so bizarre. And it was released into the animals, and it made the animals turn on all the humans, and they were trying to kill them. And, bees were attacking, and birds were attacking, and lions, and your household pet was attacking you. So then this group of elite team of journalists and a doctor and
zoologists,
an African guy and his kid helped raise are there, and they find the cure for the thing for the zoo last year, but somebody else, some bad guys, released a was it even like a virus into the world that made everybody, it was like Children of Men meets like Zoo. Planet of the Apes or something.
Children of Zoo.
Yeah. So they're all, unable to conceive. They're all infertile now. And so now the season picks up 10 years later, and, there's only a few kids left because, nobody's been able to have kids for 10 years. And it's just even worse than it was before.
Well, here's my issue. The show should have ended last season. They solved that big problem they had, and that could have been the end. And now we're 10 years later, half the show has become Falling Skies. And with lion clickers. I don't know what's going on.
No, but remember, because he had that zoo virus, he almost turned into an animal, remember? He can communicate with the animals now. He's like Dr. Doolittle.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So when that kid's like, hey, mister, he's like, what if I told you it was a matchbox? In which I guess it ended up being
a toothpick holder, and it really was a toothpick
that's what it was. Yeah. Oh, my God. So the main character, Jackson, is now in the Pacific Northwest with his new girlfriend, but he's going by Dylan for whatever reason. Because
if I'm going to go for the name Jackson, I'm definitely going to choose Dylan.
Well, at least he doesn't go Jack. I'm not going to be Jack. At least they took some sort of thinking for a new name. But in the Northwest, they built a giant wall because now these like CG hybrid creatures that are the worst CG ever.
Aren't there any flying hybrid creatures that can fly over the wall? Where's the pterodactyls?
That's true. And they're attacking everywhere, and so I guess he's starting to like save people, and meanwhile everybody else is off doing their thing. The African guy has a kid now who's like 8, 9, 10, and they get surprised by I'd call him Bella's dad. I guess Mitch. He's some sort of scientist who supposedly died at the season finale last year. But
he got eaten by the hybrids last year, we thought.
Yeah, his daughter Clementine, who's now like late teen, early 20s, comes, and she kind of surprises everybody. She's like, my daddy's still alive. And then we go to see the Mitch character being resuscitated by this group. And while he's there, this blonde girl comes saying, "I'm your daughter, Clementine." So now we've got two Clementines.
Did you know which one was the real Clementine?
I feel like they threw in a line to throw me off on purpose. And so I was convinced, even though it makes absolutely no sense, I was convinced the one that was actually with Mitch was the real Clementine, because the journalist lady made a line that said something like, "Oh, you look different."
Yeah, and they said that a couple times, and I was like, But I thought it was like a little too easy that she just happened to be there with them in Siberia.
Exactly, and they did make it obvious too that she wasn't the daughter when he's like, "I have a parking ticket." She didn't know anything about the parking ticket. So at that moment,
it was so bad.
Something's up with Clementine. First of all, her name is Clementine. Peel her like an orange.
Yeah, where's her epilepsy dog? Suddenly she's cured of epilepsy and she doesn't need her epilepsy dog.
I forgot about her epilepsy dog. It probably zooed. It zooed.
It's zooed. It's just so bad. And then they have this little blood sample they got from one of these new rhinoceros hybrids. And they sent it to the African guy and his wife because now they're scientists too. And they were researching it, and it just kept growing and growing and got its own heartbeat and eyeball. It was like an embryo egg. This show is so much. If they had a wall blocking out all the bad creatures, how did these two hyena hybrids end up like at their house in the safe zones, far away from the wall?
And why would you take the sample onto the other side of the wall when you know that there's going to be a risk of something? I don't know. I don't understand. And then there's so many factions and groups, and I don't know who's who and what's what. And
I don't know what's going on. I'm just waiting for them all to get zooed.
IDA or something, I keep calling them IDGAF. That's what I keep saying.
I don't give it. Yeah, yes. Agreed.
I'm just like, agreed. I don't know what's going on. Oh, yeah, and then the journalist's ex-boyfriend who was on like 800 different affiliations last season is now like a cop or FBI agent or something.
New York cop or something. He's kind of hot, though.
Oh, and then Jackson's sister? I don't know what's going on. This show is confusing.
Oh, yeah, she just showed up. They never talked about him having a sister, but of course, conveniently, there's a sister hanging around.
And she's trying
Can we just say the best thing about this show, besides how preposterous it is
CG?
Is seeing the CG. The CG is amazingly bad, which is amazing. So, I mean, don't watch this show for any kind of real science possibilities. Don't watch this show for any great acting. Just watch it for the...
What were you going to say your favorite part is? Bella's dad?
Bella's dad.
Bella's dad. He's clearly...
Bella's dad.
Show. Oh, my God.
Bella from, if any of you guys don't know who Bella is, obviously Bella is from the Twilight series, and her dad. What's his name? Billy Bush? Is it something like that? Billy something?
Billy Burke?
Okay, close enough. Billy Burke. Billy Bush, same person.
One of them has a job. Somehow, in some reason.
We'll see how long one of them has that job for.
There's no way this show is going to get a 4th season.
No, absolutely not.
But it is good, like, summer dumb fun. And especially now that we don't have Under the Dome and we don't have Extant, which, that was a mess, too. But CBS is premiering a new summer show in the next couple weeks called Salvation, which I think uses the same font that Extant used. So I don't know what's going on.
Probably the same set.
yeah, and I think you called it when they really are using the Falling Sky sets for Portland.
Yeah, I was looking at that. I'm like, that looks exactly like the Falling Sky set from when they were in their last place.
And they're doing one of the things that I hate when shows do. When they switch between locations, they use different camera filters. So when they're in Portland, it's all blue. And I'm like,
the sun doesn't shine there. It's always like horribly blue.
I just feel like they're treating the audience as dummies. Well, I guess if we're watching Zoo, we are dummies, and we need to be told where each scene takes place in. But it's annoying. And
you're probably right.
Falling Skies did that too. I feel like everything was blue in that show.
Yeah.
So that's Zoo. Don't
watch it. Don't watch it.
We'll watch it for you instead. Don't expect that to see. Don't expect to see Zoo's name on the Emmy listings when those nominations are released this week. Not even like visual effects.
It's won all the Emmys.
If there was like a Razzie version of Emmys, maybe.
We could start that.
There really needs to be. Because I feel like Zoo would sweep.
Yeah.
Zoo and still star-crossed.
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything bad about that because a friend at work told me I should watch that.
I will say bad things about it. It looks awful. I don't need a Shonda Rhimes Romeo and Juliet period show. Period. At all. So what we talked about earlier is TV has changed so much since the last time we had a show that now we have Hulu and Netflix and Yahoo and all this crazy places like producing shows. So every week we want to talk about one or two shows that you can find on a streaming service, whether it be Amazon, Hulu, or Netflix. And the show we wanted to talk about today is called Glow.
Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling.
Did you watch the actual wrestling when it was on in the 80s and 90s?
I watched the WWF, as it was called back then.
Yes.
I didn't watch a ton of Glow just because I don't even know if that was on the stations we had as a kid. I don't know. But I did watch, I don't know if you know this, you're very young compared to me. There was a movie in like 1980, 1981, 82, and it was called All the Marbles, and it had Peter Falk from Columbo. And it was basically that, this guy going around the country with these two girls in wrestling. And I can remember the end scene where the girls come in for their big match and they're wearing these like elaborate headdresses and glitter with feathers. And they were singing, "Oh, you beautiful dolls." You know that song?
No.
Sorry for singing, people. You should look for the trailer. It's pretty amazing. And 80s.
No, I'm not familiar with it at all. It does sound pretty awesome, though.
But you watched wrestling too, right? Like,
very little. No, I was never a
Okay.
big wrestling fan. I just never saw the appeal about it. It just.
I did love it as a kid. Hulkamania.
See, I did like Hulk Hogan's movies that he made in the 80s, like Suburban Commando and Mr. Nanny. But I never
This is why you watch Zoo now.
Yes.
But, no, tell us what this show's about, because I have some comments on this show.
So what Glow is it's a fictional telling of because it was a real show back in the 80s and 90s, but it's a fictional telling of setting up this television program of women wrestlers. And so we follow Ruth, played by Allison Brie, and she kind of finds herself as one of the stars of the show, which is directed by someone named Sam, played by Mark Maron. And so we got this whole grouping of women, and they're just at this point where I've seen about halfway through, they're rehearsing and trying to find sponsorships and trying to find money to finally put on the show.
Yeah. My favorite part of this show is the music, the 80s music.
Yes.
There's the opening number is a different song every episode, which I love. You've got all these kind of background songs that are just, this is my time. This is my generation.
The music
loved it.
is great.
It's perfect. And you know what else I really loved about this? I don't know if you remember much of the 80s, Slack, because you were just a young boy. It was kind of dirty. And I don't mean like just in the sense of like the way people thought. There was just like a dirty, gritty kind of people using other people sort of thing. And this show really does kind of capture that feeling for me. Like when I think of the 80s, I kind of do think of that sort of thing, you know?
Yeah, and I've heard
I think it's doing a good job.
That it really does feel like the 80s, and they do a good job of capturing what it was like. And I do kind of remember, I feel like we hit a point in the early to mid 90s where things tried to get like cleaned up. Like let's say like Times Square, sorry, when Rudy Giuliani came in and tried to do that cleaning. And I feel like the 80s in general had a little bit of like grime and edge to it. And I feel like that's really captured in the show perfectly. And my favorite musical cue so far is the episode I was just watching, episode 5. They used Tears for Fears, Head Over Heels. Love that song.
Love that song.
Yeah, so that'll be coming up.
I do have a couple complaints.
Sure.
What the hell happened to Allison Brie? I know she's supposed to look a little rough. She looks like she's 45. She looks really busted.
I keep thinking she's Colby Smulders.
And I mean, I know in the 80s, you know, with the aerobics, they always wore those super high-waisted workout onesie things. Oh my God, she has the. I mean, I know she has almost no butt. Girls in the '80s really weren't about having big booties, but holy cow, that thing's like she has no butt. It's practically in her underarms. Her high cut side thing at the side of her hips. It's crazy. Jackie Tone playing. I don't even know what the character's name is. The one that's kind of like the dark-haired Madonna-looking one.
Yeah, Rosen.
Yeah, Melrose. That's it.
Melrose, yeah. Melanie Rosen is her name.
That's an annoying character, and she's busted. I loved Carmen. Carmen's the girl, the Moen character. Her father and her brothers are supposed to be big in the wrestling, hierarchy. So, but I just love she's so sweet. And she's kind of naive, and I guess she lived a sheltered life. I guess we'll find out more about her. I hope. I just love her smile. I think she's really adorable.
There's something about her. Whenever she's on screen, she's where my attention is going.
Yeah, she does. She draws your attention, and she's not doing anything. She'll just be standing there. Yeah, she's really good. And I also love. I don't know her name. The black lady that was wearing the fur coat at the party.
Cherry Bang.
No, not that one.
Like
not the one with the long braids. She's good too. No, the older one with the really big boobs.
Oh, I don't know.
She was wearing the white fur coat at the party. And she was supposed to be like a pimp or something.
Yes.
I loved her too. And I will say, there is no hot guys on this show so far. I'm 3 episodes in, and I have yet to see a hot guy.
They do introduce. I don't know if it's have you seen like the producer yet of the show?
Yeah, Bash and his fucking butler.
Yes, that's weird.
I can't even remember his name. Some Florian. Yeah, no, those people were not hot. Slack.
Sorry, I don't know. Well, but again, I feel like even with you're right with Allison Brie, I kept thinking she was Colby Smulders, and it does she doesn't look like she did what I know her from Community.
Yeah, that's what I know her from too.
I'm actually surprised though that she is 34. I assumed she was a little younger. In real life,
actually. But yeah. She's kind of like, well, the 2 things I know her from, she's kind of a shrill, whiny type. Mm-hmm. I don't know if she's like that in real life, but that's how she's been playing it.
But I'm enjoying the show. My concern is I don't know 100% who we're supposed to be rooting for. Are we supposed to be rooting for Ruth? Because I don't think she's all that likable. And but
neither is her friend.
No, neither is her friend. Her friend that she was cheating on or having an affair with her friend's husband, and then they end up having some sort of fight in the middle of one of the rehearsals. So
at least they're both being cast. So the blonde one's the good girl, and of course she's the dark hair. I love how the director treats her though. Like he's like, I don't know if you're hot or not. I don't know if I want to bang you or not. And then he's just like, she's a hideous, indescribable monster, like her character. I just kind of love how they just shit right all over her.
I think he's my favorite character besides Carmen. I think he's kind of a sleazy, dirty person, but I think it's funny. It's kind of what I like. But Carmen, of course, also is awesome.
I liked how she was prepared. I did like the little part where she's preparing and doing some research for a superhero. I liked her ball showing up after she'd been cut, trying to get back in there again. And I'm waiting to see more of Cherry. What was her name? Cherry Bomb?
Cherry Bang.
Cherry Bang. I think she's got a good storyline coming.
Yes. I think we've got 10 episodes this season, I believe. Okay. I don't think it's been picked up for a second season. What I'm curious about is I'm halfway through. I've watched 5 episodes, and they're still at the process of preparing. And so I'm wondering if we're going to actually see the actual show itself in season 1, or if that's going to come in later seasons. So it will be interesting to see with that.
Yeah, and you know what? I did not want to watch the show. I didn't want anything to do with this show. Justin said he was going to talk about it, so I said I watched the first episode. I will say I ended up watching 3 of them last night. So give it a shot, because I did enjoy it. And I'm going to be watching the rest of the season.
And who knows, maybe we'll talk about Gypsy next. Have you heard about Gypsy?
I saw it on my Netflix preview, when you open up the page and it tries to tell you what to watch, but I have not watched it yet.
I have not heard good things about it. Where with Glow, I've heard nothing but glowing reviews.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see where that goes. And of course, there's other streaming shows too out there, like Handmaid's Tale, that we could talk about at some point. And Netflix
People are loving that
is
show, and that's how everybody's protesting now as a handmaiden.
Yeah, which is kind of bizarre, but that's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like we get like 10 new streaming shows alone every week. So, but Glow is definitely a good one, and I do recommend it, and I do plan on finishing the season soon. But the music, you're right, the music is amazing. There's some really...
The music is the best part.
I love that song that I think was in Karate Kid and the Goldbergs used also, the You're the Best.
Yes. Nothing's gonna ever keep me down. You're the best. Yeah.
The best. Okay, I'll stop singing.
You're not here to hear us singing.
Or are you? So that is Glow. It is good. You're right. Alison Brie, not my favorite performance of hers, but maybe as the show goes on. But I love her. She'll come around.
Yeah, we'll see. She won me over on you know what? I did not like her on Community, and she won me over. So maybe she'll win me over on this one too.
Well, did you like Britta over her?
I despise Britta from day one to day end, whatever that is.
Yeah, Britta never won me over. But I like Annie on Community. So another new show that we've gotten in the last couple weeks, and I feel like it follows a trend that the networks are doing this year, is they're throwing as much cheap game show type stuff as they can into the summer. And you know what? I'm loving it. I'm eating most of it up, except for Gong's show. But ABC has brought back Battle of the Network Stars, and we are now 2 episodes into it. Did you watch the original when it was on?
Absolutely. You know what? Like when you're watching these shows and they talk about people that had appeared on it in the past and what they meant at the time, I'm telling you, I don't know about everybody else in the world, but when Battle of the Network Stars happened in my life, that was huge, because you did get to see these TV actors and sometimes movie actors, and they would come on here and they would be doing these things and they would be talking to the cameras and be having fun. You got to see them out of character. It was a big deal for me. I loved it. When I heard this was coming back, I got really excited.
Now, when they did the original version, it was a huge event where you had everyone kind of going around at once, right? And not divided into small teams.
It literally was ABC versus CBS versus ABC, because there was only 3 networks. There was no Fox yet.
No Fox, no WB.
So now you've got, the networks, you've got cable stations. So they've definitely mixed it up and made some different kind of... I don't even understand how they're justifying some of these. Like, TV kids are the same people that could have been on TV sitcoms. So that was a little confusing to me, but whatever.
Yeah, all of them except for maybe Corbin Bleu could have been on sitcoms. You got Joey Lawrence, who's been on 800 sitcoms. Yeah. And I mean, he wasn't even all that. Oh, I guess he did something. He was even on. He did a show before Blossom. I guess he was young. Nolan Gould from Modern Family. Yeah. So I guess he was a TV kid. Nolan Gould is on Modern Family, and then of course Lisa Whelchel, Kim Fields from Facts of Life. Kim Fields, don't forget, she was on Living Single. That's right. And AJ Michalka, who was on the sitcoms, could have been on the TV Kids also.
Yeah.
And Tracy Gold also could have been on the TV Kids. So they're all.
Can I just say, Tracy Gold got old. I mean, look, I'm old too. I'll be the first one to admit that. But I thought I saw her just a couple years ago, and she didn't look that bad. She looked crazy, and they never talked to her one time on camera. Did you notice that?
No, they gave her absolutely no time, which I thought was kind of weird. The person who was
kind of being a bitch or something.
Maybe the person who was creeping me out the first episode, I was getting weird vibes from Tom Arnold.
You know what I have in my notes here? Let me read it exactly to you. What the fuck was up with Tom Arnold? He came late. I didn't know if he'd had a stroke or he was coming off a drug binge. He was lost, wandering around, and even the guy's like, let's get you hydrated. I'm like, what the hell?
There was something weird, and it wasn't touched upon, and it gave me more questions than they could answer. I was so confused.
He might die up there. I'm like, what's going on, Tom Arnold?
Like, the only thing they had him do was like sit on the dunk tank and.
Yeah, and then he did. Well, he was in the tug of war.
Oh, that's right. Won. Yeah, and I think
did they win?
I think sitcoms won overall. Yeah.
Yeah, they ended up winning. Spoiler.
Yeah. And then we got to see Balky. What's his name from Perfect Strangers? Wham! That was great.
You know what? I will say this: like when he was running, I thought Balky would end up dying, but he actually was in fairly good shape considering how old he is.
Now, what about the second episode that aired this week, which was Variety Stars versus TV Sex Symbols? And it was, I think they were trying to make Tracy Bingham run, if I remember correctly. And
she did run, and let me tell you, Tracy's probably my age, or maybe she's around there. She might be a little older, might be a little younger, but she's in, she's up there. They made this poor woman run so far, and I mean, 2/3 of her body weight have to be boob.
And she was like up against Nick Lachey.
I know, and I mean, Nick Lachey, yeah, he's not 21 anymore, but he's still in really good physical condition. I just couldn't believe it. And then at one point when Keegan Allen started running, oh my God, it was just like, they don't have a chance. Oh no, he was on the same team as
He was on the same team, but he was still just roaring down the track.
Joey Lawrence. Somebody was running against her. I can't remember. No, not Joey Lawrence. That was the other team. I don't know. They were running, and I was just like, holy shit.
That Gio Marini, he was, I think he ran.
Oh, he's in good physical shape too. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And they kept mentioning that. And of course, the other team with the Pretty Little Liars guys, neither of them owned a shirt.
Well, okay. This show, Pretty Little Liars, was on for many years. I watched it from the beginning. This Keegan Allen, whatever his name is, he looks like a lion face man to me. I don't find him attractive. And he was weird on the show. Did you notice he was always looking at the camera, even when he wasn't on camera? He'd slink his way in and be like, giving the eyes to the camera. I was just like, stop it. But I will say, Brent, who's also from Pretty Little Liars, I kind of really loved him. I really warmed up to him. I thought he was funny. I loved all the jokes they made about him not wearing a shirt.
Yeah, it was funny. Even I think when he was doing the tennis, when they were like, I guess it makes him more aerodynamic without a shirt.
I loved it. Do you remember the part where he went to grab the rope and he slipped into the water and he came out and he was talking to the girl?
Yes.
He totally had a Woody.
Oh, I did not know.
I, of course, noticed this. He totally had a Woody. Rewind your DVD, people, or your DVRs and look for that, because that definitely happened. But you know what I really hated? That they changed this up. They never did this in the 70s, because the sob story did not exist in the 70s.
Yes.
When Ronda Rousey took Keegan to the side and was like, why are you here? We all know he's there to make a paycheck and to up his, people knowing who he is.
Yeah,
and he starts talking about his father. And it's sad. His father passed away. Look, my father passed away too. It's sad. You're not on this show because your dad passed away.
That's my problem with a lot of these reality shows, is they're trying to turn everything these days into a sob story of some sort. And I just don't buy those at all. And I don't connect with them. I don't care. Just give me entertainment. And I don't care. The only
sob story I like is when I'm watching Long Lost Family, man, because that's a true sob story. That's
or something like a Who Do You Think You Are? That's appropriate there.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't care. I don't care if Keegan Allen got separated from his family on the savannah back in Africa with all the other lions. I don't care. I do not care.
They let Simba become the Lion King, and he had to go to America and be an actor.
In Pretty Little Liars. But I love when they throw these people where you're like, who is Rosa Blasi? Okay, whatever.
I don't know her. I don't know what show she's on, and frankly, she is not a sex symbol in my opinion.
Yeah, I felt like they play fast and loose with some of these team titles.
Some people barely even competed. Although I will say Jack Osborne did very well.
Yes, when they put him on the obstacle course, right?
Obstacle course? Yeah, he won. Yeah. Spoiler.
Yeah. He won. And of course, I'm okay with them talking about his MS, because I feel like that is kind of appropriate to what's going on.
But he doesn't use it as a crush. Like he says, he's not like, oh, feel sorry for me. I have MS. He's like, I have MS. So now I'm living my life.
See what I can do. Yeah. Yeah. So we have.
I don't think he would want that as a sob story.
No. Yeah, he was good. We've got 8 more episodes this season of Battle of the Network Stars, and we've got some amazing stars such as Jonathan Lipnicki, Vivica A. Fox. We've got who else is coming? Ted McGinley. That should be.
Oh, I loved him.
Jimmy Walker. He's still alive.
Yes, what's happening?
Dave Foley, who we talked about earlier. Todd Bridges.
I loved Dave Foley. Todd Bridges. He was on the original ones back in the day, too. So was J.J. Walker. Probably Ted McGinley, too.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. Jason Hervey from the Wonder Years. Okay, what's he been up to?
Oh, my God.
And my favorite, the lady that played Kate the cop from Angel Season 1.
Oh, my God. She did Law & Order, right?
She did Law & Order, and she was also in Jane the Virgin this year.
Oh, that's right. Sinnostro's disguise face.
The blonde disguise, yeah. So some exciting people. Oh, of course, we can't forget Lance Bass and Joey Fatone.
Who?
Lance Bass and Joey Fat One. Is that better?
Oh, okay. Now I know who you're talking about.
And Adrian Zemed, who I'm sure probably did the original too, right?
I'm sure, because he was on TJ Hooker in the 80s.
Yeah.
And he was also in Grease too.
And so, and then another person who probably did the original, because he's going to give it 110%, Lou Ferrigno.
Oh my God, he definitely did that.
Oh, I'm sure. So it is kind of fun that they're bringing in people that were back from the originals versus younger, and it's kind of a fun show. And kind of sometimes the events I wish we saw more of, like the tennis and the basketball, rather than the kayaking. They spend too much time on the kayak.
I kind of love the kayaking because people don't know how to kayak, and it's hysterical.
That's
like
true.
when AJ Michalka practically killed somebody kayaking.
But you know what? She got her redemption.
Boobs made her drown into the water. Like,
she did get her redemption though in the end. The Michalka.
That's true.
So it's not a quality show, but it's nice, fun summer entertainment.
If you want to see some pretty boy, pretty girl celebrities go face first into a face plant, or get drowned, I don't know. I think it's kind of entertaining.
And it is fun seeing celebrities kind of out of their elements and not in such a scripted environment, because then you get the moments like, who knows what's going on with Tom Arnold. And
what do you think of their coaches? I don't like Ronda Rousey. I think she's kind of annoying. I like the other guy though. I don't know.
I feel like they're kind of unnecessary.
Yeah.
I feel like we don't necessarily.
It's just there to bring. I mean, she's the it girl, right? Everybody wants to see her, even though she's lost too badly.
Oh yeah, anytime she's fought.
Go away now. You're not a winner now. Go away.
Yeah, I don't know why they keep using. And I do like that they brought back those hideous yellow jackets for the hosts to wear.
Oh, those guys I like. The two guys. I guess they're golf casters. Guys,
I think
normally?
one. Yeah, they
do
some sort of sports. Yeah, they're actually pretty good because they're the
look
ones
like they pulled them right out of the. I love them.
Yeah, they're the ones that kept making fun of Brent Daughtry not wearing a shirt. So
yeah,
it's good. Yeah, I'm in for the next 8 weeks. It's a fun. It's
8 weeks.
So we'll see.
I'm gonna watch it too. I enjoyed it. I was just gonna say I enjoyed it. I'm gonna watch it too.
Yeah, I just like watching these celebrities do different things. Our last thing to talk about before we go today is, speaking of Brent Daughtry and that guy with the lion head. What's his name again?
Keegan Allen.
Keegan Allen. A couple weeks ago, a show left us named Pretty Little Liars, which I know Jacqueline actually watched from beginning to end. She deserves a Medal of Freedom for that. How was the ending? Did it end the way it should have? Was it a good ending?
I don't know about should have, but it was not what I was expecting. The big reveal, I mean, if you are going to be spoiled by this, you should definitely turn off your sound now. They somehow brought out Spencer's evil twin as the new A. I guess for the last season, they had an AD. And this was the person that was playing the game on them and setting them up and trying to get them arrested and ruin their lives. So it was Spencer's twin sister, and the very last episode they revealed it, and they kind of did a couple flashbacks where it was really her instead of the real Spencer, and you're like, oh wow, that makes sense why that was a weird thing for her to do. But I don't know. I don't like when they bring up somebody who's I didn't want it to be somebody we didn't know.
Yeah, I was just going to ask,
what it was. It was something we didn't know.
Did the viewers know she had a twin sister going into this?
No, we never knew that. And that's why it kind of bothered me. I was hoping, even if it was one of the main 4 or 5 girls, that would have made me more happy than if it was just a twin sister,
Yeah, that kind of seems
never heard of.
Cop out a little bit.
Yeah. But I mean, at the end, they all got their happy ever afters, It's worked out for them. None of the 4 people ended up dying. All their boyfriends got to live at the end, and,
Now, out of the main Pretty Little Liar girls, who do you think is going to have the best career coming out of the show?
The best career coming out of the show?
Or for the future? Or are they all doomed?
No, I don't think they're all doomed. I think that the girl that played Emily, Shy Mitchell, has a good chance. I think she's a decent actress. I think she could get some roles and some stuff. I don't know if she'd ever be like, a Jennifer Aniston doing a ton of movies, but I think she has a career. And I also think there might be a place for Lucy Hale. I don't think Lucy Hale would ever be a huge mainstream actress either.
The only one I know off the top of my head, I know Lucy Hale does have a CW show lined up.
Yeah.
But that's the only one I can think of. But I don't even know if that's gonna be a big hit because we saw what happened with Frequency and No Tomorrow last season. They just got 10 episodes and that was it.
Yeah. I don't see anything happening for the main girl, Allison. I don't find the girl that was Spencer that likable. I don't know if maybe she has more, but she makes movies on her own. So, she probably has something lined up for herself. We'll see. And I just don't think Ashley Benson, I think, is doing a lot of partying from what I've been reading on the gossip site. So I don't know if she'll be able to get it together.
Yeah, kind of like a future Tara Reid.
She's pretty. I mean, she could definitely land the role as a hot girl or something, but I just don't know if she has more going for her than that. I think the guys have a better chance, to be honest.
Including
Not that Keegan Allen guy.
Oh, no Keegan Allen. Sorry, Keegan Allen.
You're relegated to Battle of the Network Stars Season 2, Keegan.
Well, it's more that Brent Daughtry guy.
He's hot, yeah. Maybe he could play Gambit. Nope.
Oh, maybe Keegan Allen could play Gambit. Yes.
I will murder you if that happens.
I am going to suggest that to Fox right now. Dear Fox.
Tweeting immediately. Well, that's the end of our hour.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for listening. Send any comments, share the podcast. Send us suggestions. If there's a show you want us to watch or talk about, let us know, because, I mean, really, all we do is watch TV. I mean, Justin has a full-time job, but that's not going to get in the way of his TV watching. Don't you worry.
No.
And I don't really do much of anything. So be sure to listen to us probably next Sunday again, maybe Saturday. We'll see. Our show is not set in stone. Be sure to listen on Monday to the political show we'll have with Arthur and Ryan. And thanks for joining us, and have a great week.
Have a good one. Thanks.
To stop the stream now.